Hi everyone, this is Priyanka Villanassery, the pediatric physical therapist, and now new mom. I am 6 months pregnant, which is crazy. I will be 7 months pregnant next week, also crazy. But I haven't done podcasts in a while with Move the Fields, mostly just because of time and work and building up the Baby Bliss Collective. But I thought, let's come back on here and let's do that because of this new journey as a woman of color and new mom myself. So this video is going to be all about the 3 highest standards that you can set for yourself as a woman of color and a new mom. I just think the older I get, like I'm 32 years old now, setting ridiculously high standards for yourself, especially as a woman of color, has to be a norm. It just has to be a norm because the way society is structured or has been structured for all of history has been white men, white women, men of color, and then women of color. And so if you don't set your standards straight and be very picky with how you bring things into your space and how you focus your energy and your attention and time and your moments, it's easy for the world to just kind of like get you, or you feel like you have to act a different way than you actually are inside. So these are the 3 highest standards to set as a woman of color and now becoming a new mom, because now you got a child, like you have a baby, not just to protect, but also to grow, to thrive, to make sure that he or she feels that they can be their most individual self. I think the moms that I work with that do the best, like, or that I take from, I guess, are the moms that sense what their baby needs individually, separate from them. So like the moms that don't like try to push their thought processes and how they think things should happen to their baby, like they watch their baby and then they act accordingly. So these 3 standards are going to make it easy for you to do that with your new baby, when you're going through all these new crazy changes. So I'm going to go through all 3 and then I'll break each of them down. The first one is have the audacity to say no. As women of color, we're taught all the time, like, to people please, not have any boundaries. No. Have the audacity to say no. 2, I want you to have the standard for yourself that you move your body not to look a certain way, not to impress upon anyone else, but for your mental health, like literally for your mental sanity and also for your confidence. When you move your body and you learn how to do that consistently and feel really good in your body, like you start to feel like you can conquer anything and do anything. And I just think all women of color deserve to feel that way. And then 3, you're going to protect your peace and your energy. Because like I said, much of society has been created to take away a woman of color's energy. So you got to protect it. You just do. Especially if you're having a baby who is a person of color, like you need to teach them how to protect their own energy as well. And then I'll give you a 4th bonus one at the end of this podcast as well. So let's go to the first one. I need you to have the audacity to say no. I was a people pleaser growing up, like chronic, and probably that's also due to like me being the oldest and making sure that everything is okay for everybody. But like, I think the older I get, and just like you have more life experiences, the more you say no, the more you get to shape the world. So rather than like the world telling you what you need to be focusing on and what you like material capitalistic things need to be focused on, you actually get to listen to yourself and then be like, no, I actually don't want that, Another good thing to do is like follow your gut feeling. Like if there's something inside you that's like, something doesn't feel right here, but I can't pinpoint it, like take a second back, maybe meditate on it for 5 minutes and just like feel into like, why do I feel funny here? So when you have that audacity to say no, I think your world really changes in that moment. I've been practicing this for the last 2 to 3 years. I think it's only gotten better and honestly more particular as I continue on in this pregnancy. I really am not here for like people around me like being over worriers or not focused with their time, and it's now only brought in other women around me who are focused with their time and are moms who are like, I'm going to instill such confidence and kindness and safety into my kid. And then I see it in their kid and I'm like, this is what I want to do with my little baby girl. So that's the first one. Have the audacity to say no. The second one, move your body. So I'm a pediatric physical therapist. I went to physical therapy school, got my doctorate, all that. But I work primarily with babies. I do have my own movement routine that I do a lot. Obviously, pregnancy has changed my own personal menstrual cycle. So I have no menstrual cycle. So now I go off of my energy levels. But I love working out in a way that is based on my intuition and based on my flow, not based on the male way of strength training. You know, there's certain principles that work all the way around. So one thing I want to teach you guys is progressive overload. So this idea of, like, if you say you start off with like 5 pounds at the gym and you do a couple of squats, right? Then the next week you're going to try to go for 8 pounds. Just go up a little bit higher. That's what's going to let your muscles grow and teach your muscles how to grow. So there's certain principles, like I said, that I use in my movement routine that are just like objective, but I work out in such a way it's based on my like la-di-da, feminine, girly, womanly self. Like, I'm not trying to like be bulking up a ton. I'm trying to be a happy lady. And so what happens is my workouts change based on my energy. So for example, I did not work out for the first half of this week because I was tired from pregnancy. And then I was like, oh, my back is hurting, my hips are hurting, I need to do something. And I know that moving not only helps the mental health and the confidence aspects, but it helps my pain during pregnancy. So I went and I did some strength training, which includes things like squats, things like lunges, things like holding 2 dumbbells and doing external rotations to help my back a little bit because I have this huge belly in the front. And yeah, I did a lot of strength training. The next day I was like, you know what? I just want to walk for 30 minutes. That feels really good to me. I think tomorrow I'm going to do yoga. Like, I go off of the intuition, but I'm always moving. Like, every day I'm moving for 30 minutes. That's been my goal to myself. If you really never worked out before, I would start with just 10 minutes. I would straight up start with 10 minutes just to get yourself into a rhythm and make sure your goal is mental health. Like, your goal is to make yourself the happiest version of yourself as a woman of color. Because again, we have been stepped on throughout history constantly. And this is probably the first time in history where people, you know, have the internet, have other friends who like question why women have been stomped on for so long. And actually are making a like daily individual change towards it, you know? So if you've never worked out and this is your first time and you're like, maybe I want to try this, do it for just 10 minutes a day with the only focus of I'm doing this to improve my mental health and make me happier. And then just give yourself that promise for a week and see how good you feel. I promise you're going to feel so much better. There's literally never been a time that I don't feel better from working out. Ever. And I've been working out since PT school. So that's 7-8 years ago. And I consistently work out because I switched the reason to working out for my mental health. Not for me to get 6-pack abs, not for me to look a certain way. It was literally, I have anxiety and depression because I'm a woman of color living in the world I live in today. And I fully accepted that. And then I was like, clearly exercise gives you so many happy hormones. Let's just move strictly for our mental health. And now I'm like, I will have little bouts of anxiety and depression, but for the most part, I really don't, because like it doesn't last long, because I know, okay, I'm getting into a depressive mood. Let's go to the gym for 20 to 30 minutes and let's see what happens. And every single time I feel so much better. So, number 2, move your body for the sole reason of making yourself happy as a woman of color. And then the last one, number 3, is going to be protect your energy and peace. This kind of goes with having the audacity to say no, but it's a little bit different in the sense of like I need you to protect yourself. I'm reading this book right now. It's called um, White Tears, Brown Scars. The whole point of it is how, like, essentially white feminism and white women, they had one step power below white men. And so, to make themselves feel powerful, it was a very natural thing for them to take away the power of women of color. I think in our society today, there's people who consciously do this. I think there's also white people who subconsciously do this. And then there's people who are like trying to make sure that they don't do this, and like fight racism in that way. But it's been such a part of history. Like if you read this book, it's so insidious throughout our culture that like I don't think we realize it in our day-to-day lives. And that is why I think it's very important to protect your energy and peace as a woman of color, because you can still have the greatest of like people around you, but the history of what women of color have had to experience makes it so it's easy for them to be targets. And I'm just kind of like, I don't really want that in my life anymore. I will only have positive, calm, present people in my life because I want that for my own life. And so if you can protect your energy and peace, just do it and then say no to anything else. So like I've gotten really good at building up confidence. I think it's because I've had the audacity to say no for the last couple of years. I think it's also because I move. Like I build a lot of confidence from just strength training. Like I feel like the strongest person ever. And now being a pregnant person, going to the gym and doing these squats and doing like all my lifts that I do, I'm like, and I look in the mirror and I'm like, wow, I can't believe not only how capable I am, but just like how gorgeous I am. I'm literally out here with my pregnant belly, lifting these weights above my head and going back down. And I think because I do some of those things that build my confidence, it becomes easy for me to protect my energy when I see this is not what I want, And then the way that protecting energy and your peace looks like as a woman of color to me is like when you start to notice like, hey, I don't know, like this auntie is telling me I have to live a certain way in order to be okay or good. Like I notice that it makes me feel funny. I literally will like shut myself off in my own head. Like I will literally like come back into myself. I frankly stop listening to the other person because I'm like, you can't help me. Like you can't help me to the goals that I'm trying to reach right now. You can't. And so anything you say right now, it's really a projection of yourself, right? And so, or if I have like someone in my life who's just like kind of like a constant worrier, but I don't want to be a worrier. I've worked through my anxiety and I want to keep it that way, if not grow more. I will literally be like, I change how I talk to them. Like I literally change how I talk. So like I generally will empathize with how they're feeling because you always should validate people's emotions. That's how they're feeling. There's a reason they got to that. At the same time, I don't like go wholeheartedly into that emotion. I listen and then I'm like, again, I do the thing where I recluse in my own head where I'm like, I don't want to worry. And I understand that that's this person's emotions. It is not mine to take on. And by that, I just protect your peace so naturally. And the more you practice it, it gets easier too, because that wasn't an easy thing for me to do. Or I'll have people in my life who I'm like, I need to make sure they're happy, right? I'm sure you do too. But something lately has been clicking where it's like, actually, no, I don't need to make anyone but myself happy. And I'm going to stay in the protection of my energy and myself. And if that other person can like live with me happily and we can keep it hanging out and keep like focus and attention, great. If we can't, that person's going to naturally fall off. You're not going to text them as much. You're not going to hear about their worry as much because you've decided in your brain, I protect my peace always first and foremost. And then this is going to help you when you have your kiddo too. Whether you have a little boy or girl, like they are going to watch mom protect her peace and they're going to know I get to do that as well. I don't have to constantly accommodate other people, especially if you grew up in, our people of color cultures. Like people pleasing is a constant thing in our cultures, and I wish there was a way to just not have to people please, but then just like enjoy the culture, enjoy the food, enjoy the clothes, enjoy the singing, enjoy the dancing, like all of that, and then not have to gossip or people please. And I think we're getting there slowly, but the way to do that is to protect your energy and your peace. So that's all three of those: having the audacity to say no, moving your body solely for your mental health and your confidence, and 3 is protecting your peace and your energy. So I want to give you guys a bonus fourth one, and that is to literally love other women. I think loving other women wholeheartedly and just like seeing them for what they are is one of the best things you could do as a woman of color and new mom, because having a kiddo is hard. There's a lot you have to learn. There's a lot you have to go through. The way that our society has been structured is moms are the ones that things fall onto. I personally, in my own household, am actively trying to change that. I have a really great husband, Zach. He's so wonderful, and I feel like I chose well. I did come from a family where good choices were not being made. Long story short, and I might talk about that on a different podcast episode. But the beauty of coming from a household where the man did not protect the woman, the man did not provide for the woman, is I got to see that as a child and think, I really don't want this. This is just not gonna work. So I had the audacity to say no to icky men. Most men are icky, again, because that's how society has trained them. And so I straight up, like, I feel like I only have like 3 to 4 guy friends and the rest are female. And it's for those reasons. Like, there are good men in the world. There really are. I know that to be true many, many times over. But there are also like they have to like go against their training, their norm, you know? And like my husband was raised by a woman who very much valued emotional intelligence and emotional health. And that is shown through her son, you know? So I think like choosing well, one, as a woman is amazing. And then being like, I'm going to love on women so much so that they can know they can choose well as well. Yeah, and just like loving women in the personalities that they have, even if they're like totally different from you, actively love them. There was a phase in my life where I was losing a lot of friendships, and part of it was them. But a huge part of it was me. I feel like what I saw growing up too was a lot of gossip culture. And that wasn't just Indian culture. That was like a lot of culture. Like people would just like gossip a lot. And I definitely did too. It was just the culture of what was normal. There became a moment where I was like, I'm not having fun in these friendships because we're talking about people from high school that I frankly don't know anymore. I don't know them. Like, they're not my life. I have other things I'm doing in my life. I think it's also very important to be selfish. So, like, as a woman of color specifically, so when you're selfish, it's like, I don't want to gossip about people I don't know about when I could be, like, so focused on myself. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I think that combo together was hard, and so I had a hard time loving some of the women in my life because these behaviors were happening. But again, I think it's because society trained us that way. So I decided to say no, but at the same time I'm like, I think you can love all women while also setting boundaries if behaviors are not what you'd like to see. So like, if you meet a new female friend and you notice they gossip, like that's in your head, you're like, okay, I can appreciate this woman, I can love this woman, but I don't want that behavior in my life, right? And then you kind of step yourself back, but you still love the woman. Because I think the only way to fix things in our society and to help women of color in our society is for us to, well, one, band together, but also two, behave in the way we'd like to see. I want to see women being selfish. I want to see women caring about themselves. And sometimes it's gonna mean like, you know, your ideologies don't align well, right? And you can still say bye and then love on them, but like, no, like they need to be over there. But just like not bash talk them at the same time, right? So just love other women. That's the fourth final bonus one. So we're gonna go over all 4. It's gonna be have the audacity to say no. Move your body for your mental health and your confidence, to increase your confidence. 3, protect your energy. and your peace at all costs. And then 4, love on other women. Love on other women as often and as possible as you can. Um, yeah, and that's the end of that episode. I hope this helped. I really think as women of color, like I said, we have to have the highest of standards, however you define that, but it must be defined. It must be defined. Because once you define it, now we get to shape our life, and the systems in place that don't really serve us can no longer shape our lives. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to go through that journey and realize you have a lot more power than you think you do. So I'm happy for you, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.